In today's LEGO Star Wars review, we're going to be taking a look at a set that LEGO once said they'd never make again because it was too niche. Set number 75357, Ghost and Phantom 2. This set contains 1,394 pieces and retails for $170. Since this is based on the new Ahsoka show, we're receiving some brand new exclusive minifigures. First Officer Hawkins, Lieutenant Beta, General Hera Syndulla, Jason Syndulla, and of course, the war criminal himself, Chopper. Starting with First Officer Hawkins, this is a brand new character, at least to my knowledge. From what I've seen in the show so far, I think he's represented pretty well here. He features somewhat of an accurate hairpiece and an accurate torso print and style. He is only featured with one facial expression, but it looks pretty good. His torso does include front and back printing, while featuring a nice baby blue set of arms. The blue print on his torso does pretty much exactly match what his arms look like, so great job LEGO. He does not, however, include leg printing. I couldn't find any reference material that shows his legs, but if you watch the Ahsoka show, you can see that he is featured with light brown, kind of caramel colored knee-high boots. This is a small detail, but with the minifig spread of this set, I think they should have just done the right thing here and gave this character dual molded legs to match closer to what he looks like in universe. It may seem like a petty gripe, but it would have made this character look even better. But moving on to Lieutenant Beta, he looks great, using LEGO's Mon Calamari headpiece that they've been using for several years, with a high level of detail on the headpiece. He also features torso printing on the front and the back of the torso, and he features leg printing. Lieutenant Beta is also featured with a blaster pistol. Yes, this pistol I have him with here is meant to be in the Phantom 2, but I thought he looked pretty good with it. This is a really great looking New Republic pilot character. Now, on to the more well-known characters, General Hera Syndulla. This is a great minifigure. The detail captured here is really impressive. The only thing missing is arm printing. So starting with the headpiece, this continues the use of LEGO's Twi'lek headpiece from previous figures and previous versions of Hera. This print detail is great. We see her hat printed in brown, as well as goggles printed on top, just like we've seen in previous versions. But these look great here. On her head tails, we see a great representation of her skin design with these unique white patterns. Hera's torso print features a high level of detail with front and back printing. On the front, we can see her jacket represented very well here, and her rank represented nicely as well. On her back, we see a great representation of the back of her jacket from the Ahsoka show, and I did some research into what this symbol on her back means, and from what I could find, it may somehow be connected to the Ryloth resistance. I don't know how accurate that information is, but that is all I could find on this. Let me know in the comments below if you know what this symbol represents. Moving down to Hera's legs, we see a good level of leg print. We can see her belt and pants pockets printed on the front here. Again, representing what we see in the Ahsoka show pretty well. Moving on to Jason Syndulla. This, of course, is Kanan and Hera's son. He is, of course, completely accurate to what we see in the Ahsoka show. So, on to Chopper. Just kidding. He is featured here in this set with a brown hairpiece, which, if you've watched the Ahsoka show or have seen any other reviews on this set, you'll know that in the show, Jason's hair is actually green. Even in Rebels, his hair is green. So, I'm not sure how we ended up with this normal brown hairpiece for him, but here we are. Jason does feature two facial expressions, one slightly happy and one really happy. His torso print is good. Actually really good. He features a high level of detail on the front and back of his torso and represent a highly detailed jacket very well. He is also featured with a darker light bluish arm when compared to First Officer Hawkins. He does not feature leg print, which is fine on these tiny legs. Saving the absolute best for last, well, not figure-wise, but character-wise, the sassy battlebot that needs no introduction, Chopper. Chopper is a mini astromech in this set, so he's stubby and has short astromech legs. He has a smaller body than something like R2-D2. He also has his unique head shape with appropriate printing. He also features a 1x1 rounded tile piece on the top of his head, which appears to try to represent his little dish he pops out from time to time. The print on Chopper is really good. He has front and back printing that really capture more detail than I expected, but we see LEGO continuing to struggle with consistent printing around the face and really just the heads of astromechs. Mine isn't too bad here, but it is a little off. I'm not really that worried about it though. So that wraps up the figures of this set. We have a total of 5 minifigures, and they all look pretty good. Now moving on to the set itself, this thing is a monster of a playset. This is the feeling you should always get when you pay $170 for a playset. but this set includes a ton of details, and from the comparisons I've seen, certainly more than the previous versions of this set. I never got the previous Ghost, so I can't say for sure how much better this one is, so we'll just focus on this set itself. At the front of the ship, we see the piloting cockpit and the front turret cockpit. The turret windscreen appears to be using a new type of really fogged dark blue that looks really good. There is print detail present here that looks really great as well. The pilot windscreen also uses that fogged dark blue, but has a sticker instead of printing. Now, I hate putting stickers on sets, let alone on windscreens. Luckily, I got mine pretty much lined up just right. Well, actually, a slight lean to the left, but whatever. Back down to the front turret, we see the turret represented pretty good here. Nothing fancy, but it really doesn't have to be. The coolest part of this is that the front turret launches the spring-loaded shooters that we all know and love by moving left to right. The turret doesn't really have a lot of movement outside of that. I suppose once the spring-loaded shooter pieces are out, it can move a little more freely, but with them loaded, it can only really move up and down a bit. To load a figure in the turret seat, you just grab a hold of the front around the big windscreen and pull. This detachable part clips to the rest of the ship using two small 1x1 clip pieces, which I think work really well. You can open the front turret windscreen to see the figure inside and the details of the cockpit. There are 2 stickers featured here, so that kind of sucks. Side note, this set had a ton of stickers. 2 sheets worth. That's too many stickers. The controls of the turret use an Inquisitor hilt piece, which really throws me off personally. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that. Once the turret seat is pulled out, it of course takes the pilot's windscreen with it, so you can see Hera sitting in the pilot seat there. The pilot's area is super small and features a small set of controls to pilot the ship. Moving to the top of the ship, we have another fogged dark bluish windscreen. This is where the ship's topmost turret is located. Unfortunately, it does not rotate, which is super disappointing, but it can open easily to put a figure inside. It's really weird. The figure you put here just stands here, doesn't connect to anything, but because of how tightly everything fits, the character doesn't fall over and really looks fine. The turret itself on the top of the ship, of course, only moves up and down, but looks pretty good other than that. This top piece is also the ship's next removable part that easily detaches to show the interior of the Ghost. The top piece connects to the Ghost using this large 2x6 brick piece towards the back and connects to only 4 studs. This simple and limited connection method is really great. The inside of the Ghost's interior is actually pretty good. For the scale of this set, I think there is an acceptable amount of space inside. Looking towards the front of the interior, we see a very small set of stairs that lead into the pilot's cockpit, and that's a great touch. Right in the middle of the interior, on the floor, we have 2 1x2 tile stud pieces that are made to easily mount Chopper, without completely sticking him to the floor, I guess. We also get a sink, so that's an interesting touch. Right next to the sink, we have a crate here that contains a nice little Easter egg from Rebels, a Malu-Run fruit. Right across from that, we have a control panel of some sort, and along each side of the interior, we have entrances to the outside of the ship, both of which feature this yellow tile piece with, you guessed it, more stickers. The stickers here, I think, say airlock in Arabesh, so that's a cool inclusion. The back of the interior doesn't really include anything, but that's fine. The extra interior space is amazing to have in a set like this. Not only can you fit all of the included figures inside of the set, there's enough room for other minifigures as well. And that's about it for removable panels for accessing the inside of the Ghost. So with the Ghost back together, let's take a closer look at the body panels. This set features a really generous amount of sand blue pieces, which really look amazing. We don't get very many sets with sand blue, so I love when we do get these pieces. The level of detail on the exterior is really amazing. At the front of the ship, we have 2 set of identically built edges that flank the turret windscreen. These include even more stickers, of course. Working along the edge of the ship, we can see just how detailed the designers of this set really made this. It's not overdone with complex greebling, it's just simple yet very effective. You can, of course, see stickers spread about. They're all over this thing. On each side of the Ghost, we have pieces representing the docking ports. These are very well detailed, but do have quite a bit of play in them. Since they're mostly connected to a long Technic piece connected to the edge of the ship, I think they did a great job capturing the details on this docking port. Both sides of the ship are identical, so what you see on one side, you see on the other. Moving towards the back of the ship here, we work our way to the engines. But before that, let's go ahead and take this Phantom 2 off. LEGO is using this new, at least I've never seen it, sparkly blue dish piece that just looks phenomenal on this set. There are 4 engines here, all using this new blue dish piece. Another detail here that I think might be a first for LEGO, a gray hot dog piece. I know this is meant to represent some sort of detail on the engines here, but I just can't not see a hot dog here, so I personally wish this piece wasn't here. But the engines look really, really good. Great job, LEGO. And while the Phantom 2 is off, we get a look at the mounting or landing area for the Phantom 2. One thing that I personally don't like is the lack of platform here around the engines. Looking back in there are just big gaps that fall right into the floor level of the interior of the Ghost. You can't see the inside of the Ghost from back here, but these big gaps are just not very visually appealing. The way the Phantom 2 connects is pretty great. It really only utilizes 2 parts. This little bit of Technic axle sticking out, and this 2x2 tile stud piece. This is a really simple way to connect and disconnect the ship. I just wonder how well that 2x2 tile stud piece will be after 10 years of play with this. Kids beware. Now, brand new, the connection point for this Phantom 2 is strong enough to hold it while you hold the Ghost upside down, which brings us to the underside of this set. Just like on the previous version of this set, the underside is pretty bare, but honestly, that's fine. Here we can see the dedicated landing feet of this set, which use a really, really simple method, but it works, and it works great. The tiles at the bottom of the landing gear get absolutely destroyed though if you move it around a hard surface enough. We also get a closer look at the spring-loaded shooters that are controlled by the front turret, and we get a look at the exterior ramps. These ramps are really simple but effective. What's really cool is that the ramps actually lead into the Ghost, so it isn't just a fake ramp like we get on some sets. You can't, of course, walk a figure in, but the fact that you can fit a figure through there into the set is really neat. So now that we've covered the Ghost, let's now take a look at the Phantom 2. This little ship is just that, little. Of course, scaling wise, this is perfect, and honestly, it's fine. But the real Phantom 2 in-universe is a repurposed Separatist shuttle, which is pretty large. But again, this is perfectly fine. It's scaled perfectly with the size of this Ghost. The windscreen is connected to part of the front of the ship, so when it opens, you have lots of room to place your figure inside. There are no interior details though, however. There is a unique feature on this Phantom 2, however. LEGO pulling something out of their old bag of tricks. Chopper's head can be placed on the side of the cockpit to represent him being inside of the ship. One last note about this. This little build is covered with stickers. This is an absolute nightmare to complete. The set looks great, but the amount of stickers just made me want to throw this whole set out. But overall, the Ghost and Phantom 2 is a fantastic set, of course. Again, I never had the previous Ghost, but from what I have seen in comparison videos, this is a fantastic upgrade. What a crazy time that LEGO produces a mainstream set for $170. But for that $170, you're getting a fantastic playset, and you actually feel like you're getting your money's worth. Whether you play with this set or you just display it, this is a great inclusion to add to your collection. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please check out my other LEGO Star Wars and other LEGO product reviews on the end screen now.